Excited.
Yeah, me too. We should do this more often.
100%.
Uh, on one of my other
He
training
has he
sessions.
follows along.
Somebody's talking. All right. I need every single person's camera on right now. And if you don't turn it on, I'm kicking you out. Here we
What if
are.
you're driving? I'm gonna make you dizzy.
I want to see you.
All right.
All right, everybody. So I have a good friend of mine. And Carly, you can put in like a cup holder or whatever. Like, obviously, don't wreck. I'm just giving you a hard time. But I've got a really good buddy of mine, and we've been in the space the same amount of time, about 3.5 years. We both joined a mentorship program together. But Itai is probably the best student that I've ever worked with. He's a closer on an e-commerce offer that's doing what, 800 to $1 million a month in cash collected.
Mm-hmm.
The top sales rep. Uh, and we just formed a relationship over these last couple of years. But I trust him. I think he's an absolute savage. So I brought him on. Some of you may have seen his calls already, but I'm thinking doing some Q&A for starters, but then also doing a call review and allowing him and I to both just tag team it and ball out. Sound good?
100%. Let's do it.
Let's start with, I need 3 wins before we jump in. What do we got?
Closed one without a husband objection, which is just like the biggest win.
Let's go, Josie. That's awesome. How did you do that?
You know, that she went through a firm and she felt comfortable. She's very comfortable with the firm, uses it all the time, and she's like, nope, I'll just use the lowest payment and get in. So
Heck,
typically I don't see that. So that was helpful.
that's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes they don't give you any objections and you're like, are you sure? You sure you don't want to give me an objection? It's great. Proud of you. 2 more?
Two call closes that most likely are going to come in on Monday. We have time scheduled, so that'll be a good start to March.
Heck. Make it happen. Tell us when you get them in.
Will do.
1 more.
I just closed a $7,000 contract, and she was like a yes right at the start, 0 objections. I kept on talking before I realized she was already in and I could just stop.
Heck. That's nice.
Yeah.
If only everyone was like that. That's awesome. Congrats. All right. Direct your questions to Itai. Obviously, if there's anything specific to your offer that you want my insights on, that is fine as well. But Itai, you have the floor.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Nice to see all of you. If some of you are familiar with my calls, then great to meet you guys live and happy to answer any questions and give some good feedback. For those of you guys that don't know me, I've just been closing for a few years. Tristan has trained me a lot. We've done a lot of work together, especially in the beginning of my closing career. And yeah, currently on an e-com offer, closing anywhere from 20 to 30K a month in commission. So I don't know everything, but I've trained a lot and put a lot into the skill set, and I'm happy to share what I've learned with you guys as well. So yeah, so looks like we got some questions here. We got Pharrell. Is that how you say your name?
Yeah, that's actually right. That was
There we
good.
go. What's up, man?
Nice meeting you, man. Nice seeing you.
Hey, you too.
I booked a call a couple days ago, and this morning actually I just did his call and he didn't close. This is the first time that I ever came up with or that I ever came across because I've changed my offer. A I go over my finances with my wife, so I can't. He said there was sticker shock. His objection was I don't go I don't go make my own decisions on something this big.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I never spent anything or invested in myself with this amount, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you say about
Yeah.
that?
So, I mean, essentially, like, obviously, a partner objection, it's a smokescreen, right? It's not a real objection. All that is, he's basically hiding behind the fear, Okay. That's what you need to get out of him is the fact that he is scared. And what he is doing is he's putting the responsibility on his wife. He's externalizing that responsibility on her. And ultimately, if your prospect does not take responsibility, they're not going to buy. Right.
Yeah.
So now you have to ask yourself, like, why that objection even came up in the first place. Okay. There has to have been something. I can tell you because I've had plenty of partner objections and I've had plenty of uh, married couples that didn't give me objections, right? So I was able to see why it happened on some calls and why it didn't. The reason why you've got that objection is essentially because you didn't have him take enough responsibility during the call. And I can say that without even watching it because by the end of the call, they should know that they are the ones responsible for making the decisions. They're the ones showing up on the coaching calls. They're the ones turning up every single day, implementing what they're being taught, right? So if they're now putting that responsibility on somebody else, then whose fault is that?
How would I no, that makes complete sense. How would I, because I did see this, I definitely see this was out of fear. He even told me he didn't give me the I have to tell my wife first objection until like 2 or 3 objections later. So I knew it was a
What
smoke
was the
screen. I just
first
didn't know
one?
how to get out of. The first one was like, wow, that's a huge sticker price. He got sticker shock, that's what he said. And then
Uh-huh.
number 2, he said, I've never spent anything this much on myself.
What,
And
what's
I
the offer that you're selling?
so the offer that I told him was 6 month, 3,800 for a
3,800. And what are you selling?
yeah. I sell for him weight loss.
Weight loss. Okay, so fitness offer.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So first he said, what was the first objection? This is just a big
This
investment.
is sticker shock. This is a huge number. That's number one. And I went through like just to make sure it's just the money that's kind of because he said it for a long time. So I was like, okay, so I'm just making sure that it's just the money, right? It's just the price of the offer, not the offer itself. Do that a couple 2 or 3 times, said yes, 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 whatever. And then he goes into, um, I never spent so much on myself. It's like, okay, well, and then I kind of push him, like, could you make the money back? Like all this and that. Probably don't have the right questions. Um, that's probably it. And then the last one was like, okay, well, I can't do this because I go over it with my wife first, any big decision. And I should have told you that from the beginning when I said yes to deal yes or no only at the end of the call. That's what he
Okay.
said.
Let's role play. Let me see how you handled it, and then I can tell you what I would have done.
Okay. You're gonna
Okay?
make me nervous now.
Yeah, well, it's uncomfortable, isn't it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Good. Let's have everyone rip you too. Let's all
Cool.
let's all rip for L together, guys.
I'm
Okay.
ready. If this helps me with my next call, I'm down for it.
Cool. Okay, yeah, Pharrell, it sounds good. I like what you guys do. It's just 3,800 is just it's a lot of money, man. So
Sure,
being
yeah.
honest.
So let's take it a little play here. What do you think is man, I usually have my script up, but
Fuck the script.
fuck the script. Okay. What's more expensive? 3 more years down the line with you being 150 pounds overweight, or you taking yourself and basically an investment right now and getting rid of all potential of cardiovascular issue for right now. Like how is that? What do you think is more expensive? 3 years down the line, or you taking investment right now and changing your life?
Well, definitely 3 years down the line, but it's still a lot of money.
Okay. So let me just be clear. Is it just the price of the, is it just the price of what I'm giving you right now that's stopping you, holding you back? Yes or no?
Mm, like I have the money, like I can afford it, but it's just like 3,800. I've never spent that in one time. Like I've never done that before.
Well, maybe you should now. This is the time where you need to take advantage of what you have right now. And you told me previously before that this is something that is a necessity for you. This is not something that you can just wait another 2, 3 years down the line. So now you have that fear. If you don't make this investment now, when are you going to make it?
I'll probably make it. I'll probably do it after I talk to my wife about it because, I mean, it is a lot of money and
Sure.
I just don't want to
Well,
be disrespectful to her and,
yeah.
just something that we do together.
Well, let me ask you this. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Sure. Um, would your wife support you in this endeavor, like you losing 150 pounds, you changing your whole life, actually not just for you, but for your entire family, because you're a very family-oriented person?
Yeah.
Would that
Yeah.
she
I
would,
think she would. Yeah.
right? And so are you usually the person who makes the decision in the family?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it depends what the decision is. Sometimes I'll make it with her, sometimes it's me, yeah.
Sure. So why is this particularly when this decision is for you, right? This is something that she can't lose the weight for you, she can't lose the pounds for you. Why is it her decision and not solely yours?
Well, it's not that it's not her decision. Like it is her decision. It's just because, we're a married couple, we share money together, and if I spend this 3,800 and she doesn't know, then she'll probably be very pissed off at me.
Sure. And you're telling me that this particularly this instance, because you said that, sometimes you would make decisions on your own, but sometimes you do it with your wife. Why this particular decision? I'm just trying to make sure that this is not something that you're trying to
Okay.
push back for yourself.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Tell
Okay.
me.
So now we're going through this like rabbit hole. Okay. Now we're just going in
Yeah, I
circles
can't
and the
get out of it.
conversation ultimately isn't going nowhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Few things. Number one, you're not on the same side of the table as the prospects. Okay. Mm, you're being a bit combative. And also, you haven't gotten any certainty as well. Okay. That's the first thing is, I mean, I'm sure Tristan tell you guys this too, is like you need certainty on what the program offers, right? You need them to be 100% confident that the program that you are selling them is going to get them to their desired outcome. Okay. What you did for Elle is you went straight into like, okay, well, what's more expensive, this or this?
Yeah.
Right. Now, in the
Yeah.
prospect's mind, what do you feel like goes through the prospect's mind when you say that right off the bat?
Something more about
Can anybody else not hear him, or is it just me?
oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Maybe just more, they're thinking about the price now. They're focused on the price now instead of what this can do for that person, the product can do for
Nope.
the person. Okay.
No, they're focused on you trying to sell them. They feel the sales
Mm,
resistance right off the bat. You know what happens when they feel sales resistance?
they say no.
Close off. They go
Yeah.
into fight or flight and they're like, hey, you know what, man? I just gotta go. I'm just gonna go talk to my wife. Have you guys ever gotten that on your calls? Yep, I have. Sales resistance comes from fight or flight. That's what they do immediately, right? We need to diffuse first. Okay, give me the objection.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think this is a huge price. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, totally fine, man. The tuition is really easy stuff. The biggest thing for me though, Pharrell, is like, do you feel what we've walked you through? Like, do you feel the program that we have and everything that we have laid out for you? Like, do you feel that can get you the desired outcome, which is, you said losing weight, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. You think so? Doesn't sound very certain. Is there any part about the program that you feel like won't get you there?
No, maybe just because you're online. I don't know how I don't know. Something won't work if it's online.
Okay. And if it wasn't online, does it make a difference for you?
I actually can't do in person. I have to do online.
Okay. So aside from in person or online, like if our students, they showed up to the coaching calls, they implemented what we taught them and they were able to get those results, what makes you any different from the rest of them?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I shouldn't be.
Do you say that because it sounds nice in the conversation, or do you actually mean it?
No, I have no other I have no other option. I think yeah, no, I think
Why don't you have
product
any other
will
option?
I don't have any other option because this is what I need to do. I can't do it in person.
Why do you feel
I
like
have
you
to
need
do it
to do this
online.
though?
I need to do this because I've just been yo-yoing my weight back and forth. I can't do it myself, and I know that. That's what I told you before.
How long have you been doing that for?
It's been since COVID.
Shit, that's like what, 5 years now?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of happened that made you say like I want to change? What came up for you that made you decide that you wanted to actually be better?
I can't fit in my normal clothes. I've had to buy new clothes, and I was a 34, now I fit a 36.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Why
don't
aren't
feel
you there
comfortable.
yet, man? It's been 5 years. Why haven't you gotten there?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried, but with my work, it's almost impossible. You know, I travel a lot for work. Time is of the essence. I have a lot of meetings, and I can't. Most of these meetings are dinner meetings, so I can't really watch what I eat.
Mhm.
And if I try to go just, protein and vegetables. Yeah.
Mm. If somebody else came to you and they were 300 pounds 5 years ago, 5 years later, they're still 300 pounds, can you confidently look them in the eye and say that they've tried and they've put it their all?
No,
Okay. Can you go to your wife right now, look her in their eyes and say, hey, babe, I've tried everything that I can to lose weight? Can you confidently do that? Yes or no?
no.
Okay. Does she deserve that?
I don't know. I
Does
don't know what she thinks. I don't know what she thinks, but
does she deserve you being the same person that's overweight and can't fit in their clothes? Or does she deserve somebody that can give her the world and a man that has that confidence and leads by example?
I would think she would love me for who I am, but I understand where you're going. So
She's gonna
yeah, I
love
think
you
she
either way,
deserves
right?
better. That's what I think. Yeah, hopefully.
Well, otherwise we're in the wrong relationship, yeah?
Right.
But what do you want, man? Truly.
I want to be confident, and we go to beaches a lot, we go on cruises a lot, and with my family, and I take my shirt off anyways, but I don't feel confident in um not having my shirt on.
Mm,
And every time that I put on these other pants, I have the other ones waiting for me in the closet that's 33 and 34, but I can't fit them.
shit.
I want better for me.
Why do you want better?
Uh,
Why not just stay like everybody else that's okay with being overweight, that's okay with knowing that their wife loves them either way? Why aren't you okay with that?
I have this fear that in the next 2 to 3 years, it's going to be worse, and
Why
I
do you
don't
say
want to
that?
get to worse. Um, because I've just been this way just snuck up on me. And if I don't change what I do now, it's gonna still sneak up on me.
Okay. If that's the case, man, ultimately the version that you want to be, the version that, has their clothes fitting in them, that is confident, that is ripped at the beach when he takes his shirt off. What decisions do you feel like he makes? Do you feel like he settles and is a-okay with where he's at, or ultimately does he strive to get out of his comfort zone and do what it takes to become better?
Yeah, definitely get out of the comfort zone for
Why
sure.
does he do that though? Because the easiest thing that you can do for Elle is to stay in your comfort zone. You've done it for the last 5 years.
Yeah, I want change. I don't want to be the same. I want to be different. I want to go back to the 33, 34 at least. At least.
Okay. So what needs to change on your end then to get a different result? And it's obviously not doing what you've been doing the last 5 years.
I got to figure it out.
Okay. And just to clarify, do you feel that what we do can get you there?
Yes.
Okay. So can I hold you to the higher standard, to being the 2.0 version of yourself, the man that you deserve to be, the husband that your wife deserves to have, the father that your kids deserve?
Yes, but I still need to talk to my wife about it.
Okay. Totally fine. I have a wife myself, so I get it. The biggest thing is though, is like, whose responsibility is it to lose this weight?
Me.
Okay. Who's going to be the one showing up to the coaching calls? Who's going to be the one doing the exercises, implementing the diets? Is it you or your wife?
It's gonna be me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's extra brand.
And in a few months' time, when your wife can see you and you're down 50 pounds, fitting your old clothes again, right? You look good, you look shredded. How do you think she would feel?
I think she would be happy that I committed to myself and made a change.
Yeah, she'd be over the moon, wouldn't she?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you feel like she deserves that?
I think she does.
Okay. So ultimately, whose responsibility is it to make that happen? Whose responsibility is it to become that person? Is it you or your wife's?
It's me
Okay. Why is it yours? Why isn't it hers?
because I'm gonna be the one who's doing the work.
Okay.
I'm the one that's going to do the workouts, show up to the calls, and do whatever I need to do to lose this weight.
Okay. So seeing that your wife already has a tremendous amount of responsibility in her own life, why would it be fair for her to leave this burden of a decision on her as well when she has all these other things going on?
Yeah, it's not fair.
So ultimately, whose decision is it? Who does it come down to? With all due respect to your wife, right? Who's the man that needs to show up every single day?
It's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does the best version of you do right here, right now?
Make a decision, commit.
And what does that decision look like?
I should say yes. I should do it.
You don't have to. You don't have to do anything. Do you want to?
Yeah, yeah, I want to.
Okay. Visa or MasterCard?
That was so good. I felt like I was actually being sold.
Yeah, no, I'll actually take your credit card. No, I'm kidding.
Wow, that makes a lot more sense. I can see how, kind of like, take me through the process of how you were breaking it down in your head a little bit. Because I saw you were, this is, by the way, this is after you say the price that you do all this, not before.
This is objection handling. It's after the pitch, after everything, and then they're like, yeah, they just give you all that BS.
So you made the person take responsibility first, that they need to do all the work, and then makes them realize that uh, ultimately it's going to be my decision because I'm going to do all the work. I'm the one who's going to show up to all the calls. And where did it take you to that? Um, would it be fair to your wife, all due respect to her, if you gave her more responsibility, more decisions to make? What did it, how did that take you from there to there?
Well, ultimately, man, like it's just fear, right?
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're just hiding behind your wife. You're hiding behind your wife. Okay.
Okay.
You need to like, and also definitely depends what kind of prospect you're speaking to, right? Like if it's like a type A prospect, somebody that, has like an ego and someone that is big on like being the man and that kind of stuff, you need to play into their ego, right? You need them to understand that like they're the ones in control, right? They're the man of the house. They're not like they're the one wearing the pants essentially, right? A man, you have to play into a man's ego.
He didn't seem like this. What
The
other
prospect you
types?
had, was he more like type B,
He's
like a beta kind of guy?
a little bit. He's 57. He works as a
Okay.
VP of a agriculture company. So he
Uh-huh.
had the money. He told me he had the money. He knew he had the money. He's like, this is not the issue. I don't need to
Yeah,
flip the
it's not the
payments.
money. It's
Yeah, it's
fear.
not the money. Yeah. So I don't know. I felt like it was crossing a big boundary
Did you
if I
feel like,
would.
without watching the call, did you feel like he was somebody that you needed to uplift more, or somebody that you needed to like humble him a little bit?
No, not humble. Uplift. 100%.
Uplift. Okay, so he
Yeah.
was lacking confidence. So this kind of person, you want to like put a lot more confidence. Ask them questions like, do you feel like you deserve this? Do you feel like your family deserves this? Why do they deserve it? Because XYZ. You want to have them sell the idea to you. Why not? Why you? Why not somebody else? Why can't somebody else be the man of the house for the kids? Why can't somebody else be the confident guy leading by example, right? Oh,
Yeah.
because my kids need me, this and this and that. Okay, well, who are you letting down by not becoming that person? My family. Is that what they deserve? No. Okay. So
Right.
think of the version of you that is already 40 pounds down, that has his dream physique, and his wife is confident with him in bed. He's confident. His kids are happy to see him this way. What do you feel like that version of you does? Does he keep externalizing responsibility on other people, or does he meet that fear head on, grab it by the balls, and actually take action? What does he do? He does this.
Yeah.
Why does he do that? Because XYZ. Okay. Do you want to become that person? Yes. So what do you feel like you need to do right here, right now to start becoming the 2.0 version of yourself? I need to take action.
Wow. Yeah.
That is where you want to lead the conversation. Notice how there's a lot of responsibility, number one, but number two, I'm not combative, right? Like, does anybody think that I'm kind of like being a dickhead to this guy?
No.
Okay. Does
Even I
anybody
didn't
feel
feel
like
that.
I'm actually helping this guy and I'm actually serving them? Cool. Does anybody feel like the questions I'm asking, I'm like selling them or being salesy about it? No. Great. So number one, we got rid of the sales resistance. Number two, we're not combative. Number three, we're not telling them that they're scared. When I was a prospect for you, you were like, hey man, I get it. Like you're scared, fear, blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
You know what that does? It goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
Nobody likes to be told these things. Do you tell them these things during the whole call or do you ask them questions?
I have some questions
Why do you ask them questions? Why don't you tell
to
them?
get a better picture of what, so they can tell me how they're actually feeling.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
So by you telling them all these things in objection handling, what are you not doing?
I'm not getting to the bottom of what they actually want, their fears, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you typically get responses like, yeah, I know what you're saying. It makes sense, but
Yeah. Huge. A lot. A lot. I don't even know how I mean, being on this call with
well,
you,
you do
like,
know how. Now you do know how.
yeah, I don't even know. No, I mean, I don't even know how I sold other people now, now that I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I opened a bigger picture
So,
for you because you can get a lot more creative here. But it comes with experience, right?
yeah.
Like
So
everything
you,
that we just did, like go and fucking implement it. Don't do what you did
yeah,
before. That was shit. You need to
yeah,
stop that.
100%. No, yeah, I gotta stop that.
Good.
Um, so be less combative, meaning my tone has to change. Is there any particular way that you're thinking about tone or
Not really. I mean, my tone is, I don't have like a crazy, like,
you have a pretty like
NEPQ, like,
standard
oh, hey,
tone?
like,
Yeah.
I'm just very, like, you just want to be calm, right? You want to have a calm demeanor. That's how I am on my calls, at least. I don't know if you guys are more like, like up tempo or whatever you guys, works for some people. But as soon as your prospects can see that you're like raising your voice, you're getting a little bit nervous, then that also puts them into fight or flight and you're cooked.
True.
Take all
Sure.
the money and take a match and burn it because it's gone. Okay.
Yo, thank
So
you so much, brother.
yeah, no worries. Hope that helped.
It did a lot. Thank you.
Okay, well we got Christopher, hit me.
Hey man, one of the things that I saw for the first time on your recorded calls was about having them download a firm and then putting in the information. And then you mentioned, especially with younger people, you'll
Uh-huh.
say, let me know when you get there so I can help you. And then you mentioned that it's like household income. Is that something that you do with everybody? And does that basically increase like the purchasing power that they get?
Yeah, so you want to be careful with that. On my offer, like that's what we're allowed to do is ultimately have them put household income. But number one, for legality purposes, do not tell them what to put. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do not tell them like, hey, you should do this, this, and that, because that's not freaking illegal. It's not ethical either. Okay.
Mm, yeah,
Yes, obviously, like the higher they put on their income, the higher chances they get approved. But at the same
right.
time, you don't want to do it just so that you can get the close and they have loans that they can't afford because guess what happens after? They charge back, they ask for a refund, and all that was
Mm-hmm.
pointless. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do it from a point of like actually helping the prospect, right? If you feel like it's actually going to help them and your offer is like okay with it, right? I'll say there's been people on my offer that have done it in very shady ways. They're like, hey man, you're gonna put 150K or whatever it is, just so that they
Mm,
can get approved. The next day, I just see it in the Slack that they got a chargeback.
mm,
Okay. So you have to be
mm-hmm.
very, very careful with that and just be very ethical and make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
And
is it basically
like
like if you
never,
get a sense?
never tell them what to put down. Number one. Never
Yeah.
tell them what to put down. Whatever they make is what they put down. If this is just my offer, so I can't speak for you, but if they,
Mm-hmm.
live with like their parents or something like that, then household income is appropriate. Okay, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure what that looks like for you. I would just stay away from it. The more you're hands-on with it, the more complicated and tricky it can get. So I would stay away from it if I were you. I would just be a lot more hands-off with it. Okay.
Got it.
Cool.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, no worries. Tom, hit me.
How's it going? Nice to meet you. I just have a bit of a question
Ah,
regarding
UK accent. Where are you from, mate?
Birmingham.
Ah, very nice. Okay, my bad. Go.
I have a question regarding mindset. instead. So for you to get to this level with the closing, what would you say like the biggest mental barrier is that you had to overcome to really break through, like, let's say 10K per month?
Yeah, it's literally just, I mean, it's easier said than done, but I know for a fact that this is what separates me from the other closers simply because I think of it differently. Okay. Have you ever seen where, I'll just ask you guys, right, for the whole floor. Have you guys ever had this closer on your offer that 1 week they're closing deals left and right, they're closing everything. You see them everywhere on Slack. Next week they're not closing anything, they're gone. They like fell off the face of the earth, right? Cool. The reason why, and I'm sure you guys have struggled with this as well, and I'm definitely guilty of this in the past, is I would only base my success if I closed the deal. If I didn't close the call, I would be pissed. If I had 2 other calls that day, I'd be like, fuck this. I don't want to take these calls anymore. If I closed my first 2 calls, I'd be like, okay, give me more, give me more, give me more, and I would close, right? Do you know how unsustainable that is? What that means is basically when you start off the day well, when things are going your way, you're going to show up. When things aren't, you're done. You're gone. That is literally self-sabotage. That is you just taking a gun and shooting yourself in the foot. What you need to do, the way that you need to think, and this is how I've changed my way of thinking, is whether a prospect buys or not, you need to ask yourself, did I go the extra mile? Did I do everything that I needed to do to help the prospect get out of their own way? Did I serve them to the best of my ability? If you can check off those boxes, whether they bought or not, that is fine. The end outcome is you actually showing up and going the extra mile. If they bought, great, awesome, congrats. You helped them get over their fears, you helped them get out of their own way. If they didn't, that's also fine. You did your part, you did what you needed to do, and you did the best possible job that you could on that call. So that's when you need to detach, right? You'll say, hey, you know what? Fine. I did everything that I needed to. I trained, I showed up, I went to Tristan calls, right? I implemented what he taught me. I didn't get the close, fine. On to the next. If you solely base it off of whether they buy or not, you're already done. Like, just forget it. That will help you close a lot more consistently. That will help you show up on the good days and the bad days, which puts you already ahead of most closers on your offer because guess what? They're not doing.
Yeah. They're just basing the results off results rather than process.
Yeah. And does that sound like somebody that actually wants to help prospects and actually wants to help their leads, or does that sound like someone that's just there for the money?
Yeah, just money.
Okay. Well, we're here to impact people. We're not just here to extract money from their pockets. Yes, we help them. We get paid too, so it's great for both ends. But you have to show up no matter what. Whether you close the deal or not, you need to ask yourself, did I do everything that I can? Now, if you tell yourself, hey, you know what? I half-assed this call. The prospect didn't buy. Now you can look at yourself and be like, okay, that was my fucking fault. I didn't do what I needed to. Then I'd actually be pissed, right? I would actually be pissed if I left a call knowing that I half-assed it and I didn't do what I needed to do. So that's how you should think. Think differently that way. Always remember the end outcome is not the close. It is you showing up and doing what you need to do. That is the end outcome. What happens after is out of your hands. Okay?
Yeah, that's really
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Good. Let me know if that works.
Yeah, thanks.
It's worked for me, I'll tell you that. Who's next? We got Deshaun. Am I in order, by the way, or am I skipping you guys?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So I just had a few questions. I'm actually new to sales. I'm very like quiet and introvert. I don't
Okay.
really talk as much. I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. So when it comes to the sales, should I have like a script that I go by?
Why do you ask that?
Because usually when I'm on calls, I just don't know really. I'm not sure what to say.
Okay. Do you have like a foundation? Like, what are you selling?
I do credit repair and funding.
Credit
So
repair.
yeah.
And have you closed before? This kind of like your first rodeo?
This is my first rodeo.
Okay. Well, first things first, definitely, I hate saying the word script, but you definitely need like a process. You need a foundation just to start off, see where you want to take the conversation.
Mhm.
In the beginning, you're probably going to have to rely on it a little bit more just because you have no experience. You don't really know where to go, where to take the conversation.
All right.
One thing I would do, are there other closers on that offer, or is it just you?
It's just me.
It's just you. Okay. I was gonna say if there's other closers, you can see like their process and what's working for them. But since it's just you, then you're gonna have to get creative here. Definitely work with Tristan on that. When I got on my first offer for closing, I don't know what the hell I was asking. I don't know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
Tristan gave me a process. We worked on that. And it made me realize, okay, what the hell was I saying? I need to actually ask the proper questions. Tristan, you definitely remember that. But yeah, definitely work on something with Tristan on like a little framework, a little script, nothing too specific, just to lead the conversation so that you have that foundation. As you go through the call, go back, go back to the drawing board, see what's missing, see what you need to add, and then take it from there. That comes from experience. Okay. Don't try to make it perfect. Take imperfect action. Fuck up a lot on your calls, torch a lot of deals. That's a-okay. That's what I did in the beginning. As you get better, you're gonna feel that, okay, this is a question that probably makes more sense. This question I should probably take out. That comes with experience. Okay.
Okay.
Go to the drawing board with Tristan, get a little basis framework. Um, do a few call reviews, whatever it takes, and go from there. That's the advice I would give you.
Okay, and another question, should I, when I book calls, should I do more face to face like this or like over the phone? Is it like a difference?
How much is the price point?
I start off at 1,000 for the repair.
What's the highest?
I charge them 10% of whatever I get them funded.
Okay, so what's the highest you got someone funded?
For 50K
Okay, so 5K. I would do it over Zoom.
over Zoom. Okay.
Yeah. I think over the phone, because that's the thing, like you want to build trust with these guys. It's hard to trust somebody over the phone. When I started selling on my offers, we were doing calls on Close.io. We weren't even doing Zoom. And that's just because that's what we were doing. And then I was the first guy that was like, Tristan told me, he's like, dude, just try some Zoom calls. I was the only one that started doing Zoom. My close rate was way higher than everybody else's. My cash per call was the highest. And it's not like my skill set got like any better from the following week to the other. It was pretty much the same. But just the trust bill, it's huge. It does a lot. Plus,
Okay.
you could read them, like you can see when they're nervous, you can see like when they're not paying attention. Like Zoom is the way to go.
Gotcha. And one more question.
Yeah,
If
you're good.
if I'm not getting as much calls booked, how do I practice my sales pitch? Or just like practice in general?
If you're not getting as many calls booked,
Yeah.
number one, I would get on another offer. You need to
Okay.
make money. One call that, how many calls are you taking a week?
I'll say less than 5.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
You need to get on another offer
Mhm.
or set your own calls. Like literally book your own calls, close them, get double commission, 15% instead of 10. Seriously,
No.
do
Yeah.
that. Or just find another offer and close on 2 offers and you can make more that way. But you said 5 calls a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll close what? 1 or 2 out of 5, I'm guessing? 3 maybe?
Probably 1.
1, okay. So, I mean, brother, you're like working for free. You could make more at McDonald's at that point,
All right.
you know? Get on another offer, set your own calls. What are you doing with the rest of your time during the day?
I'm usually making content.
Okay. How many hours how many hours do you do that a day?
It probably takes me about 4 or 5 hours to record it and edit it and post it.
Okay. So why aren't you getting calls? Is this your own offer?
Yeah.
I'm no marketing expert, but you definitely need a lot more calls on your offer. It's not enough to sustain an offer. Um, I'd also look into closing for an offer too, if I were you, just to get more experience. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to start an offer at first. I had no closing experience. I was barely able to book calls on my offers because I just didn't know how to do it. I got
Alright,
an offer, I started closing, I got the experience. If I want to do an offer right now, I know exactly what I need to do for it.
okay.
Okay, start there.
All right. Thank you.
All right, no worries.
Appreciate it.
Cool. Who's next? Lay it on me, guys. Someone unmute themselves.
Yeah, I'll go. I'm not in order, but I'll go.
All right, hey, mate, what's up, Sam?
What's up, Itai? So I was kind of replaying this in my head. I've been going this like the last 2 weeks and kind of just working on framing this. So obviously you're not going to close everyone, right? And so, but I'm an encourager by nature. I definitely don't have like your more understated tone when I'm on calls. I'm kind of, the opposite of that in many ways. And so I think for
Okay.
me, what I'm kind of, working on and working through is that I do like I run my own offer for context. So I have my own offer. I've helped dozens of people with what I do. And so I have a good feel of what my prospect is going to be like. And so just sort of, like I know like, oh, I know I can help this one. No, I can help this person, whatever. When do you know when to wave the white flag on a prospect inside of a call? What I've been going on is basically when I get to the bottom of the fear brainstem and I can't get them across the barrier, I'm like, okay, if they're not going to help themselves, I can't push them over the line when I've gotten through the smoke screens and stuff. But is there a framework that you work through from that perspective as well?
Like when to decide, like, hey, you know what, this person's not buying, get off the call.
Yeah, because and two, like I'm, I have that encouraging personality. So I'm like, I don't want to like beat them to a pulp on the call with like my niceness or whatever. Like that's not what I, or however you want to frame it. So
Yeah.
those two scenarios as well.
Yeah, I mean, how long do you typically objection handle for before you decide that it's
I
done?
mean, I try to string it out. I mean, usually like probably sometimes, I mean, anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, usually.
20 minutes. What I will say, from what I've noticed, is typically like you have like 10 minutes, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like your countdown in a way, not
Sure.
like literally, but like after that, it's like you're kind of just
Yeah.
going
It's
in
like,
circles. The conversation's going nowhere. And
yeah, it's
especially
like
if you
one
have
more
another call
day.
after that,
Yeah.
then it's like you're just running late to another call, then you're running around in circles with this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
From me, like from what I've seen, when I'm not able to overcome a prospect, which, yeah, guys, that happens. There's lots of leads I don't close too. When I'm not able to overcome a prospect, and I'd say I'm like maybe like 15, kind of getting close to like 20 minutes, and I just feel like they're just looking for a way out. They're already just like closed-minded. The reframes aren't landing, like the
Yeah.
questions they're not landing, and it's kind of just getting nowhere. Then I'm just like, okay, look, hey man, like I'm sorry I couldn't help you get out of your own way. Um, if they say like, think about it, you could say like, next time, tomorrow morning we look in the mirror and you're clocking into your 9 to 5 job, like I really want you to think about this conversation. Kind of just,
Yeah.
put the nail in the coffin. But most of the time they're probably not going to come back. But I mean, that's at that point, that's when I would kind of just let go and move on to the next call. Because what that does, man, is it takes so much energy out of you
Yeah.
when you feel like you want it more than the prospect. It can't be that way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree totally. And I think like I even experienced it yesterday where it's like I just kind of said like, he gave me like one last objection. I just said okay. And then he flashed me like the puppy dog eyes for a second and I felt bad. And I was like, nope, like don't go back in, whatever, like let him go out and whatever. And so yeah, man, I was just I've been going through that in my head recently. So I wanted to get someone else's opinion on it. So that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, no worries. Definitely don't like overthink it, but like you can just tell when it's like, okay, like this is going nowhere. My time is better spent doing something else.
Yeah.
You can leave that call, man. You're just like the energy's just gone. It's out of you.
Yeah. And to your point, like after 10 minutes, it's like, what more can the guy say at that point?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would just leave it at that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't like go too long. I used to go, I used to go with this mindset of like, hey, like I'm not leaving to this call till someone dies. Like and I would stay on for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes objection handling.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe I would get the deal, but I missed like another call and then I have to reschedule and it's just like a whole mess. So
Yeah.
really just like understand like what's more valuable for your time, that kind of stuff.
Sure. Sure.
Hey,
Awesome.
Sam, can I jump in and share with you what I've been doing?
Absolutely.
The last thing I tell them is I say, okay, if the program was $5, would you do it? they'll kind of laugh for a little bit. Most of the time they'll say yes. I'm like,
Mhm.
obviously I can't give you my coaching program for $5, but I've written an ebook with all of my best strategies. This doesn't cost me any time. I can give you this to implement, and I think this will change your life. Fair enough? Usually they'll say yes. And I had this
Yeah, I
happen
mean that won't
yesterday.
hurt. Like worst case, like they're in your funnel again, like they're
Yeah,
getting
and
your content. They could maybe come back on another call later, but if you don't have that, then you should just leave it there.
yeah, I've like, I mean, to that point, I mean, Patrick, I've written 2 books. I said like, hey man, like my book's on Amazon, go snag it, hope it helps. And then I just cut it off there. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So cool. What do we have? Joel, did you have a question for me, brother? Is it Joel or
Yeah,
Joel?
man. Either.
Huh? Oh,
Yeah,
either. I was like, what?
yeah.
Okay. What's up, man?
Yeah, yeah, awesome. Yeah, I just have a few questions.
Uh-huh.
I actually took my first sales call yesterday, and
Nice, congrats.
yeah, I was extremely nervous, but afterwards, like, it gets easier.
Mhm.
But how do you actually practically, you said the word detach before. How do you actually detach from your emotion when it comes to like sales and performance anxiety, like practically?
The good thing for you, man, is like you just started, so this is like the worst that you'll ever be. Any call that you take
Mm,
forward, you're just gonna get better and better and better. So in your mind, like you literally have nothing to lose here,
yeah.
right? Like your job is not, it sounds bad, but like your job is not to make the sale.
Yeah.
Obviously it is, but like it's not. Your job is to
Mm,
help the prospect in your best ability to get out of their own way. You do that
yeah.
without thinking, I need to close this prospect. It is going to drastically change your calls, even just in the very beginning,
Mm,
right? Like, don't overcomplicate it. You don't need to like think of all these questions that you need to ask it. Like, just be chill, be calm, ask yourself, how can I help this prospect who came to me to solve their problem?
mm. Yeah, I had that kind of mindset, like to not care if I get a sale or not, just to kind
Mhm.
of talk to them and get that experience.
Uh-huh.
But I noticed just my mind, I guess, keeps defaulting back to kind of that nervousness, kind of success-based outcome.
And how is that impacting your closes?
Oh, well, I only took like one sales call, but
Okay, did you close
it's
it?
just he wasn't like financially qualified, so
Okay. Well, I'll tell you this, man, from experience, if you just focus on the sale, you're not going to close anything.
yeah, yeah.
Just focus on how can I help this prospect? How can I go the extra mile? What can I do to help them get out of their own way? You do
Mm,
that, whether they buy or not, fine. You can at least tell yourself, I tried my best. And then as you keep training, you get better and you're already used to being detached. Great. You're one step ahead of most people that start off. All the other
yeah.
beginners, they're like, fuck, I need to close. I just started. I need to close. I need to close. I need to close.
Mm, yeah.
You're good.
Okay. Yeah, that helps a lot. With future pacing, I noticed in your calls that you kind of you start with um if we got you to your goal and outcome, can you kind of paint the picture? And then they kind of tell you, but then you kind of go
I don't know what calls
from
you're watching.
desire.
I don't say that at all.
Well, I mean, like kind of like the framework, similar to Tristan's,
Yeah,
right?
I say it a
That's
lot
that's
different.
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What was your
But it
question
seems
about
like
that?
yeah, it seems like you go to like desired state and then you
Uh-huh.
bring them back to pain and then you bring them back to desired state and then you go to consequence.
Yeah.
Um, I'm I'm wondering like how do you actually I found trouble smoothly transitioning from desired state to pain and then back to desired state again. Um,
So it's not just that like I go, okay, I'm in desired state. I want to go to pain to desired state. Like that's not how I think of it. It's more so I started doing it a little bit differently now, because my future pace would take a little bit too long. I do more of like an identity based framework. Like I'm not sure if have you guys ever heard of like identity based selling, that kind of stuff? Is anyone familiar with that? Well, basically what that is like helping them paint the picture of the 2.0 version of themselves. Okay, like the identity of the person that they want to be. Um, and I don't focus just on like how it would change their lifestyle. That's part of it. What I noticed is every single person wants to be better. Every single person wants to become a better version of themselves, whether they're a type 1, meaning they need it badly, or a type 2, meaning they're okay, or a type 3, they don't necessarily need it, but they want it. Every type of person wants to be better. So you want to help them paint, or at least this is what I do. I like to help them paint the identity of the person that they want to become. And I do that in future pace, right? Like, you know, you being able to become this action taker, this leader, guy who takes risks. Like, how do you feel like that's going to impact you? Oh, well, this changed, this would change, this would change. And then you can pull the rug from them in consequence as to like, what happens if you don't become that person because you keep letting fear hold you back? Oh man, well, I'd be fucking disappointed. I would consider that a failure. I'd feel regret. That is so much more powerful than like, what happens if you don't make any changes? Right? It is a little bit more high level. I wouldn't focus on that just yet in the beginning if I were you. But the whole point is like your mission is just to be help them see, feel, and believe what their desired outcome is in future pace. And then definitely have them see, feel, and believe what it looks like if they stay at the same spot and they continue to get in their own way. As far as like executing that and like step, you know, how you would do it. Definitely watch my calls. That would probably help. I think I do pretty well with it. Work with Tristan on it as well. I think yeah, I mean you just started, brother. You just started. You have a long way to go. Focus on getting the North Star. Focus on the North Star. Your North Star gets good, your future pace will be easier, and your consequence will be easier. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Right there.
And there was one more. So, in your opinion, do you find that dropping price and then explaining the program, then the action bonus actually makes a difference compared to doing it all at the end?
That's what I do. I like to price drop and then go through the program. Some people do it the other way around, which I mean, I think it's also fine. I don't think it's gonna necessarily make or break your close. The reason why I like doing it personally is just because I like getting it out of the way and then they get to see all the value behind it, or I get to justify it, as opposed to I'm explaining through everything and in their mind they're probably thinking, well, what's the price? What's the price? You know, it could go either way. I don't think it's necessarily a big deal whether you do it at the top or at the bottom. I just like doing it at the top and it works for me. Um, maybe at the bottom, like they could get sticker shock. They're like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting that. Or they might be like, oh, you know what? That wasn't as expensive as I thought it would be. That's actually pretty good. Um, test both out. I wouldn't overthink it though. I've always done it at the top and it works for me. So try it out.
Yeah. Okay. And as you with your like your daily routines with getting better at sales, like I'm doing role playing, like gonna start doing it nearly every day now. Like what's your kind of schedule in that like ratio with role playing versus memorizing scripts or trying to implement feedback?
When I started training, it was strictly call reviews. It's just call reviews. That's all I did. I would do a call review with Tristan and be like, hey, dude, why the fuck did you say this? Be like, you know what? You're right. Implement it, fix it the next call. Okay. We did that on and on and on. Then you can start getting more creative because you already know where to go. You know where to take your calls. You know what questions to ask. Then focus on like getting more high level with it. Right now, you have no foundation. Get a foundation. Work on your script. Work on why you're asking the questions that you're asking and understand the process better. That's where I would start since you're very new to this.
That's good. Yeah, understand why behind the questions.
Cool.
Okay.
I got
Awesome.
2 more left, guys, because I have a call at 5. I'll run a minute or 2 late to it. It's fine, but let's do 2 more and we'll wrap this up. We got Kevin and Anthony. So Kevin, you can go first.
Hey, man, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, cool. So I'm doing like tech sales. I'm selling like AI to businesses. And one of the things that I often deal with is the price being too expensive. And I'm just wondering if you had any advice for handling like price objections? Because I think what I'm selling it for is fair value.
Mhm.
Just
How much is
wondering your
that?
thoughts. Let's say like 2 to 3K setup fee and then a K recurring.
Oh, that's nothing. That's like lower ticket than most programs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not that it's too expensive. That's anything but that. They just don't see the value. They don't see that your solution can get them their desired outcome. I'd imagine it's more money, right? They want to make more money ultimately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the issue is they don't believe that what you do can get them there, right? That could be in the discovery, right? Like a lot of the belief and the trust and the confidence comes from the discovery. The pitch is going to be part of it, right? Your offer can be amazing, but if they don't see that it can get them to where they want to be, your offer doesn't matter at all. So a big thing is your discovery. Focus on that. Tristan, maybe have him check out some of my calls even too and see like my process on it because I'm also on a make more money offer. Your price is definitely not expensive, I'll tell you that. It's
Yeah.
pretty cheap actually.
Yeah.
And honestly, you could even charge more, but it's all fear. They don't believe that what you do can get them to where they want to be. It's not the price. And if they have the money, great. If they don't, you can always find a way to make it work for them. It's definitely not that it's too expensive. They just don't see the value.
So besides testimonials, how would you kind of anchor the value that they're getting from the course?
Well, they have to believe in themselves that they can do it with you, right? So you have to see if like they've had any fears or limiting beliefs hold them back in the past. You need to get over that. You need to like pre-handle it and help them overcome themselves. Once they do, then their perspective on investing and taking action will change. They're not going to see it as price-based thinking, like, oh, I'm losing $2,000. They're going to see it as results-based thinking. Oh, I do this, I can make 10K plus a month. So you have to do a lot of reframes, a lot of mindset shifts. I do that a lot in my calls. That is why I'm closing at 50 to 60%. Check some of mine out. See like how I change people's perspectives on investing, which is what you're doing. It will make a big difference in your calls.
And where can I check out your calls?
I know Tristan got them. I freaking lob them over to him every day. So you can ask him for it. Or I don't know how you guys do it, but yeah. Tristan maybe can hook you up or I'm not sure what the game plan is there, but I would try that out.
All right, perfect. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, Itai, last question. What's the number one trait or habit that makes someone the absolute best closer?
Talk the talk and walk the walk. Be the person that you want your prospects to be in your calls, right? Set a higher standard for yourself. If you're expecting somebody to lose weight in your fitness program, but you're overweight, you're already cooked from the beginning, right? Because your standard is so low and you want them to set a higher standard that you're not even there, right? So you have to be the best possible version of yourself, like showing up every day, right? Like going to the gym, putting in the work, being consistent, training and showing up. That puts you so confident in your own self. You have the belief in your own self that when somebody doesn't buy from you, in your mind, they will feel like so stupid because you've done the work, you've done what it takes, and they're simply just not taking this advice from you. But if you're the guy that half-asses calls, that doesn't show up, that is kind of there, kind of isn't, that is going to reflect on your prospects because you can't set higher standards for people when you're not there yourself. So make sure that you are the best possible version that you can be every single day. Doesn't have to be perfect, but try to show up for yourself every single day. That belief is going to just bleed onto your prospects too, naturally. I've seen it happen night and day with myself. A lot of closers aren't going to do that. So by doing that, you're already going to separate yourself from most.
Heard.
That's what I would
Thank you,
tell
buddy.
you. Yeah, no worries. Cool. That's all I can do today, guys. I'd love to sit here for another 5 hours and role play or do objections or whatever it is, but hopefully hop on another of these in the future. This was fun. And yeah, Tristan, what you got?
Yeah, you're a beast. That's all I got to say. Thank you so much for coming on. I know
Yeah.
everyone appreciated it and got a lot of value.
100%. Yeah, it was nice to see you guys. Hope you guys got some value out of that. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys around and hope you guys learned one thing or two from it.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate
Boom.
you. Everybody
All
go
right.
win.
All right, later, guys. Let's go close. Bye.
Later.